Hey cruisers, welcome to today's Alaska Shore Excursions live stream. We are going to talk about all the main ports in Alaska. We're going to talk about Ketchikan, Skagway, and Juneau. We're also going to talk about Haines, and we're also going to talk about Victoria, British Columbia, because most, if not all, of the Alaska cruises that we're aware of stop in Victoria. So we wanted to give you some tips and some of our favorite excursions for Victoria as well. Today's episode is sponsored by cruiseline.com, where you can find reviews, tips, and photos from real everyday cruisers. Be sure that you are also downloading Shipmate app, that's ship with a P, to be used on your phone. There are excellent excursion options, you guys. For Alaska, all you have to do is go to Explore in the app and then click on Excursions, and you will find awesome choices for Alaska, and you can definitely save some money by booking your own Alaska tours. It's a good way to do it, so check that out. Our subscribers all week this week were telling us that they have booked with cruiseline.com to Alaska. That's one place that they very commonly do use the app for, so be sure to check that out. Today's giveaway is very exciting. There is a new place to shop for cruise stuff on the block, and it is called It's Okay, It's a Cruise. It is a website. We have linked to it in the description of our video, but for those of you who don't want to look, the website is itsacruisego.com, no apostrophe, and of course their packaging is adorable. So today I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you what we're giving away. This is a US only giveaway. We're going to do half of the giveaway today and half of it on Monday night, which is tomorrow night. Bear with me while I open the box. As you can see, the packaging is gorgeous. So tonight we are actually going to be giving away two prizes. So two different winners will be able to get a little something from It's a Cruise. It's Okay, It's a Cruise. The first is this cute little over-the-shoulder tote bag, which you could kind of, I'm going to have to undo it so I can show you how it looks, but you can kind of sling it over your body like that and put your essentials in it. It's a really good size. I'm going to go ahead and hold this up and show you. Mr. Cruise Tips TV, my monitor just turned off. Did I just mess up my hair? Monitor turned off, I'm messing up my hair, I'm just a mess. So this is the first one. It also has a cute little area in the back where you can slide in your passports or something like that. So this is prize number one. And then prize number two for today is a very heavy duty tote bag from It's Okay, It's a Cruise. This is so high quality, you guys. You could use this for travel. It has a zipper. I'll show it to you really quickly here. And it has just a really huge inner compartment. You could also use this, you guys, for grocery shopping. I know that I use a lot of heavier kind of canvas bags for grocery shopping. Sorry about the sound. My husband's restarting my monitor. So anyway, beautiful, beautiful gifts. Thank you so much to It's Okay, It's a Cruise for partnering with us. We're so excited to introduce them to all of you. And we're about ready to get started here as soon as my monitor comes back on. All right, so what do you say we start with Ketchikan? No particular reason. It's usually the southernmost port on your Alaska cruise aside from Victoria. So we're going to start with that. I also want to thank our subscribers for giving all of these ideas to us this week. Really, probably at least 60% of the ideas that you are hearing today are from subscribers who have been on these tours, because we've been to Alaska many times, but we haven't done it all. So I want to thank everyone who contributed. If I don't mention your name today, and I probably won't because we're going to be moving really fast, I appreciate you. Thank you for your contributions. So one of the first awesome ideas that I'd never even heard of for Ketchikan came in, and it's called a sea cycle tour. So you know when you see in like beach towns sometimes people sitting on those pontoon style pedal boats that are hands-free and you kind of pedal around? Well, this is a 3-hour tour where you can do that, and it's only limited to 10 people, and their website is alaskacycletours.com. But you guys don't need to be writing all of this down because Mr. Cruise Tips TV has put it all on our website for you, descriptions, links, everything you need, and it's already in the description for this video, so please don't worry about taking copious notes. Okay, so that's the first one, the Sea Cycle Tour in Ketchikan. Next up in Ketchikan is definitely a subscriber favorite. Our subscribers say that Deadliest Catch fans will love the Bering Sea Crab Fisherman Tour. One of the greatest things about this tour, you guys, is that it is 100% wheelchair and scooter accessible. So if that is something that was concerning you or deterring you from doing a tour like that, do not worry, they welcome you. You get to see wildlife, they have a wildlife tank on the boat, you get to hear fishermen's stories, and it's very cool. So that website is alaskacrabtour.com. Next up in Ketchikan, this one's my jam. This is what I'd be doing if I had unlimited funds while I was in Alaska. The Gorge Inlet Lodge Crab Feast. If you guys know me well, and I know you do, you know how I feel about crab. It's probably my favorite food. You probably need to book this one through your ship. You can look into booking it outside your ship, but you might want to just consider booking it through your ship. This one is so interesting because you can get to the Gorge Inlet Lodge in 3 ways, either by boat, no joke, hovercraft, or float plane. Did you guys hear what I just said? You can take a hovercraft over the water. That is so cool. So that website is catchcrabs.com/tours. I don't know why they named it that. That's kind of gross, but you know, they did. Another very popular one in Ketchikan is the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show. You've all seen this one on TV. You got the lumberjacks chopping things up and putting on a show, and they do an amazing job. Our subscribers highly recommend that you do one of 2 things, that you either book this one on your own, or if you book through the ship, ask them to price match this tour because it is cheaper to book directly at AlaskanLumberjackShow.com. So be sure to price match this with the shore excursion desk if you book it through the ship. Hot tip for you guys about the Alaskan Lumberjack Show website. They offer combo tours. So you can do the Lumberjack Show and something else, and they have lots of combinations. I would really recommend that you check this out. I think it'd be a lot of fun. All right, a personal favorite of ours from our last cruise to Ketchikan was the Alaska Rainforest Sanctuary. You know all those pictures of us walking around with bears nearby and all of that coverage that we did that day in Ketchikan? That is from AlaskaRainforest.com. You get to walk through a bear sanctuary. So look for the wildlife walk and bear walk or whatever you want to call it on their website. You do need to pack bug repellent for this one because where there are bears, there is usually water and streams and there are mosquitoes. And I got a whopper of a mosquito bite on my neck that day and it was not pretty. So take your bug repellent if you do that one. Another one that was recommended by our subscriber was the Rainforest Family Adventure. This is good for the whole family. You get to go to Saxman Native Village where your electric buggy is waiting. So you get to do a dune buggy exploration and then you get to sit around the campfire and roast marshmallows. The website for this one is ketchikanoutdoors.com/Rainforest Family Adventure, but just go to ketchikanoutdoors.com and look it up. It's a little easier, or use the link that we have placed in the description for this video. Now, if your budget allows in Ketchikan, one of the dream trips is to go to the Misty Fjords on a float plane. So if you can do the Misty Fjords flight seeing, highly recommend it. And one company that we've had a very good experience with, even though we didn't end up doing the tour because they were booked up, but they were so kind to us, they tried to get us in, was spiritofalaskatours.com. Check them out. They have other tours as well. They are excellent. Okay, so that was our Ketchikan talk. Let's talk about Skagway. For those of you who have questions today, by the way, give me about 10 more minutes or so. We'll get through all of the port talk and then we'll answer questions at the end. So Skagway, when you think of it, of course you think of the wonderful White Pass and Yukon route rail. We visited last summer and vlogged our experience, interviewed conductor Mike Sitka, and just had the time of our lives on that train ride. If you are going to Skagway for the first time, do the White Pass rail, guys. It's a must do. If you've been before and you've done that excursion and you're looking for something different, we'll talk about other options, but a little note about the White Pass rail tour. You probably want to book it through your ship because the unique thing about the White Pass Rail is that they have multiple tracks. Well, the trains have tracks that sit next to all the ships. So the train for your particular ship will probably pull up right next to your train, or a very short walk or shuttle ride away from your train. So that's a good, compelling reason to book with your ship. All right, if you're looking for something a little bit different or more of a combo tour, you might want to take a small bus tour in Skagway with Daia Dave's Tours. If my eyes are darting away, it's because I'm looking at my notes. I don't have all this memorized, so please forgive me. I don't like eye darting, but I can't help it. So These are really easily accessible buses, and their most popular tour is the Emerald Lake Tour. This one runs about 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. They stop for photos and lunch at a restaurant, and you have to take your passport on that one, probably because you cross into Canada. So that's Dia Dave, and you will definitely see that one on our website in the link in the description. Another one that our subscribers recommended was the Yukon Discovery Tour, and that's with SkagwayShoreTours.com. This is a full-day guided trip from Skagway into Canada's Yukon territory. It starts right outside the dock, and then you climb almost 3,000 feet up and over the White Pass summit and enter into British Columbia and then Yukon territory. So this one's got, sometimes you get time to visit with husky dog teams and little puppies, and you have lunch, and then you go to Emerald Lake. I would love that tour. My son would love that tour. So check out Yukon Discovery. That one sounds so good to me. Another option, if you want to do a combination of a rail and bus, is to do a rail and bus combo tours with chilkootcharters.com. Again, link in the description. Another subscriber recommended the Laughton Glacier Wilderness Hike and White Pass Railway Combo Adventure. That one sounds so good. So you get a scenic train ride aboard the White Pass and Yukon route rail, and then you get to go on a wilderness trek, and I believe that you come back down on the railway as well, but I'm not sure, but that one sounds so good. And that one is through packerexpeditions.com. Okay, another good one. There's so many good things to do, guys, in Skagway that people don't think of, so I wanted to spend a little extra time on this one. Another one is the Glacier Point Wilderness Safari Tour. This is a 6-hour tour. It travels through the rainforest and fjords. You get to see a lot of scenery. And then it eventually opens up to the Davidson Glacier. So this is a very physical tour. It's a very hikey kind of a tour, but they also have a picnic lunch, and that one, the link is in the description for that as well. So yeah, some creative ideas for you if you're visiting Skagway. Now we're going to talk about Juneau. Juneau is definitely one of our favorite ports in Alaska. It's hard to pick a favorite in Alaska, but Juneau sort of holds our heart because we did so many fun things there, and we really enjoy going to Mendenhall Glacier. I could go back to Mendenhall Glacier and up to Mount Roberts repeatedly and hike both areas every time and do nothing else and be totally happy. So know that if you're on a budget, you could do a quick bus ride out to Mendenhall Glacier and hike to Nugget Falls and come back and have the day of your life. So a lot of budget things to do. Even the Mount Roberts Tramway is relatively reasonable. If you're going to be doing the Mount Roberts Tramway, do it on a sunny day. It's $35. Let me check the price here. $35 for adults, $18 for kids. So if you're going to do it, make sure the weather is good and it's not too foggy, because what makes Mount Roberts special is that the views are just absolutely incredible up there, and the hiking trails are not to be missed. Many people do not know. Now, there are some lines with the Mount Roberts Tramway. You're going to have to wait to get on. It's very, very popular, but it is a lot of fun. Okay, so we're gonna go back up to the top here and talk about Juneau. One resource that I wanted to share with all of you for traveling to Juneau that I think you should start with is traveljuneau.com. It's a wonderful website with lots of information on it. It's where we started when we were visiting Juneau, and I think that you should too. All right. One of the best things that we've ever done in Juneau was a combination tour. It was called the Best of Juneau with AlaskaTravelAdventures.com, and it combined whale watching, a trip to Mendenhall Glacier, and a salmon bake. That's a really good starter if you're going to Juneau for the first time and you really want to experience a lot. We thought that was a blast. So again, that's AlaskaTravelAdventures.com. Another good one is the Taku Lodge Feast and 5 Glacier Discovery, another bucket list item, a little pricey but worth it, and that one is at wingsairways.com. You take a seaplane to the Taku Glacier Lodge, and I'm sure that one includes lunch, a seafood lunch. You get to see 5 massive glaciers along the way. There's bears, there's dog sledding routes, and lots of glacier view dining. How fun does that sound? So that's Taku Lodge, and it's spelled T-A-K-U. Okay. So, how about whale watching? If you're thinking about whale watching in Juneau, you will see whales. It's a great way to spend the day if you enjoy whale watching. A couple of very popular places to book would be with Harv and Marv's for whale watching. They're Harv and Marv's-Alaska-whale-watching.com. And then Allen Marine Tours, and Allen is spelled A-L-L-E-N. Those are very popular. Now, if you're very active and you have a pretty big budget, you might want to consider one called the Mendenhall Glacier Trek, with Above and Beyond Alaska. I looked into that one last time and that one looks incredible, and that's beyondak.com. That would be an actual hike along a glacier. Another one that is very intriguing to me is Juneau Food Tours. Juneau Food Tours is owned and operated by Midgie, who's a food writer and blogger. And I believe that she takes you along on like a tasting, so you definitely will feel full and experience a lot of different wonderful foods in Juneau, and that's juneaufoodtours.com. Doesn't that one sound fun? I love that. We already talked about Mount Roberts. Let's talk about the once-in-a-lifetime pricey adventure. I mean, we're talking like $600 a day here, guys. If you have the funds and you have the time and you have the desire, the Juneau Glacier Dog Sled Tour via helicopter is a good one. And we have linked to that one in the description. I've never done that one before, but you are definitely going to find that if you want to do that, you know, that whole dog sled adventure in a snowy environment, that's going to be the one for you. So we've covered the big three ports. Now we're going to move on to sweet little charming Haines, which I think is the most adorable port. It's actually quite close to Skagway. In fact, you could take a ferry there. But if you're lucky enough to visit Haines for the day, you're going to find it to be a little bit more sleepy and quiet. You could just walk around the fort for the day and walk around the port. In fact, there's a fort and a port. But there's a lot of really great things to do if you want to get out and explore the beautiful area. Again, we recommend that you start with visithaines.com. Excellent resource, so much to do. Our favorite shore excursion in Haines is a 4x4 tour on the Takshanik Mountain Trail. I'm not even going to try to spell that one for you, just look on the website. But they take you on a 4x4 adventure up this incredible mountain, fantastic views, and excellent fish and chips type lunch, or I don't even know if it was fish and chips, but it was fried halibut lunch at the top, which is just exceptional, all you can eat. And this one is great for all ages. This is another tour that we did with my mom in her 70s and my son when he was a little guy, probably 6 or 7, and Haines is just precious as it is. If you get to go there, you're so fortunate. Other things to do in Haines are rafting tours to go see the Chilkat Bald Eagle Preserve. You can go to hainesrafting.com. If you want to do something a lot more physical than anything we've talked about today, you could rent a bicycle. The first time that we visited Haines, we rented bikes. We even got a little tow along for our son because he was too little to ride his own bike. And we got so much exercise that day just riding around Haines. You just go to cyclealaska.com/rentals, and that's Sockeye Cycle Company. All right. Our last port we're going to talk about today is Victoria, British Columbia. Charming, beautiful Victoria. The last time we visited Victoria, the weather was insanely gorgeous. It was 85 degrees. And while we had a very, very short port visit, and we didn't even know if we were going to make it off the ship that day, we made the best of it and had a great time. What we did is we took a taxi cab real quick over to the Gatsby Mansion and had tea at the Pendray Inn Tea House. The website for that is pendrayinandteahouse.com. And while we also recommend having high tea at the Empress Hotel, the Pendray Tea House is a little bit less expensive. It's also very close to the cruise port. It's not walking distance at all, but it's just a tiny bit closer, and it allows you to walk around that pretty little inner harbor area when you're done if you would like to. So highly recommend that you book that directly with the hotel, but you can, this is also available as a cruise line excursion, I believe, but the excursion goes really early, and for us it was a little too early. So that's a couple of ideas. If you want to have high tea at the Empress Hotel, you go to fairmont.com/Empress, I believe, and then you can find out a little bit about tea at the Empress. We did that one too with my mom, and it was a blast. We loved it. It's definitely pricey though, and me not being a sweets person, I loved all the sandwiches and things, but to me it wasn't super worth the money, but it is a once-in-a-lifetime thing that I think everyone should do. Another option in British Columbia, in Victoria, British Columbia, is whale watching. You can whale watch with a lot of companies, but bcwhalewatchingtours.com was the one that was recommended to us by our subscribers. Another must-visit in the Victoria area is Butchart Gardens, and they're at butchartgardens.com. Beautiful gardens spread out over a large area. They have a tea house. You do have to take a bus to get there, and you can book either directly or with your cruise line. I'd probably book with a cruise line if I were you. So that, my friends, was 19 minutes of Alaska Shore Excursions talk provided to you from our subscribers who have been on all of these tours. Everyone who recommended these things to me had said, I've done this, it's amazing. So I hope that you enjoy some of those tours. And I'm gonna jump into answering some questions here. Yeah, Gail recommended dog sled by helicopter. That one sounds really fun, doesn't it? Okay. Hi, Zachary, nice to see ya. Okay, so Vlog Channel said, what do you think of the cruise good for a first timer? I think what you mean is like what cruise would be good for a first timer. It's really difficult to say, Vlog Channel, because it depends on where you live, how far you want to fly, but we tend to recommend the Caribbean as a good starter cruise. River Cook said, do you recommend Carnival or Royal Caribbean? It really depends, River, on your budget and again, what you're looking for in a cruise. Carnival and Royal Caribbean are both very fun. Carnival tends to be a little bit less expensive. It can be a little bit more wild. Royal Caribbean ships are just very different. They're extremely high tech and there's a million things to do. So if you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself, maybe message me on Facebook and I can try to help you out. Okay. Wicked Wonder says, oh yes, duck farts. Let's talk about duck farts, guys. What on earth is Wicked Wonder talking about? What is a duck fart? We've talked about this before on our channel. In Juneau, if you visit the Red Dog Saloon, there is a little warm shot that you can order called a duck fart. I remember just a month or so ago, we talked about the recipe right here on the channel. So just Google duck fart and you will crack up. It looks like Mr. Cruise Tips TV put the link to the video. Is the video for the duck farts, honey? Oh, he put the vlog where I had a duck fart, is what he's saying, in the description, or not the description, in the chat, hun? Okay, so it's in the chat. So if you want to see me drinking a duck fart, go for it. Okay. Aw, thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. You like my eyes today. I did a little something different with my eye makeup today. You noticed. Good job. Okay. You know what, Kim? I know I don't like it when the ships visit Victoria from 7 p.m. to midnight. There isn't much daylight left. There's a lot of things you can do. You could go downtown and go on a little bar crawl. If you wanted to make the most of the evening, you could go taste a bunch of different beers. Downtown Victoria is really great. Have good nightlife, good food. Lots of great bars and things like that. You can also take a taxi tour, even though it's dark. You could go have dinner at the Empress. You could walk around the Inner Harbor. It's very safe. I mean, there are things to do. I would say it is a little bit of a bummer, though, when that happens. Okay. More questions for me, Mr. Cruise Tips TV? I'm ready. Yes, Patricia, would I know if any excursions are wheelchair accessible? Absolutely. Lots of the ones that we mentioned tonight are, but the one that stands out to me that where they really emphasized that they're accessible is going to be that AlaskaCrabTour.com, and that one's in Ketchikan, and that is the Bering Sea Crab Fisherman's Tour. It's 100% wheelchair and scooter accessible, so I highly recommend that one for you. Paul, I've never been to Icy Strait Point. Hopefully somebody else can offer you some shore excursion ideas. If anybody's been to Icy Strait Point, let's help Paul Olowa. All right, I'm ready for more questions whenever you are, sweetie.
Well, my chat seems to have stopped, so
okay.
I don't know if people have gone quiet.
No, it stopped a little bit earlier. I noticed too, when I was in the pre-chat, it said that the chat had been interrupted. So it'll come back. Kelly, recommendations for Sitka. You're looking at a June cruise 2020 that starts there. Yes, I'm gonna look this up really quickly, but whale watching in in Sitka is very popular. What we did is we went to the, what was it called? Fortress of the Bear. And it's kind of this interesting place where they like rehabilitate bears or something. I can't remember, it's been a few years, but Fortress of the Bear is kind of interesting. You can take a bus out there. But a lot of people really like to do whale watching in Sitka, and there's just a ton of options. I'm trying to find a good company for you, but I would look on Shipmate app and see if they have any options for you there. But I think you can see humpbacks out there, and there are a lot of really small companies that will take you out there as well. Okay, jumping back in the chat to grab some more questions. Yeah, it looks like our chat is frozen, you guys, but I'm sure that it will come back. We should be okay soon, but I know I can find more questions. Amy, I'm so glad that you're liking all of the information. That is wonderful. Allie, you did a great whale watching tour in Victoria. Allie, if you know which one you did, leave it in the chat. If you can find the website, we would love to know. Okay. Natasha, what if I chose a group cruise to Alaska? I would do that actually. That is on my dream list. I love Alaska and I would highly consider a group cruise to Alaska. I think there's just a lot of beautiful majestic scenery, and I think it really just kind of brings people back in touch with nature. It's just amazing. Hey Matt from Royal Caribbean Blog, I see you here. Reggie and her man is here. You said you had to pass on excursions, you settled on a fun drink. Glacier Bay National Park is worth the trip. So breathtaking. I know, it's so true. Isn't Glacier Bay just beautiful? Millie, you said, what are the differences in the passages in Alaska? I'm not sure what you mean, but I think what you mean is what is the difference between like an inside passage and a one-way trip? So the inside passage ones that generally go round trip from Seattle, they cover the very calm waters between Washington and Alaska, and they tend to be round trip from Seattle. The water's very calm. Some of the cruises can go around and go into the Gulf area where the water's a little bit more choppy. I think that's what you mean. Okay, Nissa Gilsdorf said, what port is better to leave from for an Alaska cruise? It's really up to you, Nissa, because there's a lot of different options. The most popular option is a 7-night round trip from Seattle. That's where you're gonna have the most variety of ships, but there are also round trips from Vancouver, and then there are the type that are the sort of open jaw, where they're north-south and south-north that go from points south to points north, like Anchorage and Fairbanks and things like that. So if you want to see more ports and more glaciers, do the north to south type and not the round trip Seattle. I think a lot of people, for their first cruise to Alaska, they do the round trip Seattle, and then they say, if I come back, I don't want as many sea days, I want to do the north to south. So something to consider, those north to south trips are actually much cheaper usually, but the airfare is not. So you have to think about the fact that you're flying into one city and departing from another, and that's going to cost you more. Okay. Kim, why would you go to Mendenhall Glacier when you can see glaciers in Glacier Bay? Well, Kim, because when you see the glaciers in Glacier Bay, you're seeing them from a boat, from the ship, excuse me, not from a boat, from the ship, and you can't really, you don't stay there for very long. You just pull up, you look for a while. If you go to visit a glacier, it's a totally different experience when you're seeing a glacier on land than it is from the ship, and all the glaciers are different. And heck, you're in Alaska. If you could see glaciers every day in Alaska, you would want to, believe me. The more glacier you can get in your life, the better. Cash Addict Mel says, when's the best time to cruise to Alaska? To me, I like mid-May, mid to late May, early June. I have cruised to Alaska in the late August and early September, and it was cold and rainy, and in May it's always sunny, but I don't know why that is. So it's just my opinion. It's also cheaper to cruise in May. Okay, Jeff, I've never been on a Holland America cruise tour, but it's a wonderful experience from what I hear, and it's on our bucket list. Yes, I love that you're going to do the 18-day double Denali. Do it, because that's going to give you time to actually rest a little bit. The longer you can do a cruise tour, the better. Okay, Def Cat said, I'm going on my first cruise for my honeymoon at the end of the year and have so many questions. How do you know which nights will be formal nights on your cruise? Def Cat, it's a little hard to tell. A lot of times it's the 2nd and 5th nights. It's almost always going to be on sea days, almost always, but if you don't have sea days, usually the 2nd and 5th nights are common, but the best way to find out is to search for the newsletters for your cruise. So you're going to go and Google whatever the newsletter is called. If you're going on Princess, you would Google Princess Patter, Alaska Royal Princess, and then you can find the newsletters and look in there. People will post them from past cruises. Okay. Tuna Bill says, if the view from Mount Roberts is obstructed, can I find a fishing trip after getting off the ship? There are a lot of tour providers, Tuna Bill. Right off the ship, you might be able to get a fishing trip. The problem with fishing trips, though, is that they're probably pretty expensive and pretty limited. If I were you, I wouldn't do it that way. I would book yourself a fishing trip right when you get there and just save yourself a little time and do Mount Roberts if it's sunny on the way back. Do the trip you really want to do and save Mount Roberts to be the second thing you do that day. Usually you're in Juneau for long enough where you can do that. Okay, Lisa Lexo, I think the warmer weather in Alaska, oddly, is May, June, but a lot of people would argue with that, but it's usually more sunny. You can have, weather just varies immensely in Alaska. You can have 40-degree days, you can have 80-degree days. Okay, Sonia, is it better to embark from Vancouver or Seattle? It's just really up to you. There are more choices in Seattle, but Vancouver, there's so much to see, so it's up to you. It depends on what cruise line and what ship. All right, Mary said, when is the best time to see wildlife? It depends on what kind of wildlife, but usually later in the summer is better. Bears and salmon tend to be later. That's one thing you will possibly miss if you go in May, is the wildlife. Great questions coming in, you guys. You're doing such a good job. Okay. Uh-huh. SoCal Seth, the duck fart is actually delicious. Yes, flyover country, we would absolutely consider a land and sea vacation. We just have to get more vacation time, right? That's the problem. Kelly wants to know if anybody's done the Hal Euro down round trip Seattle. Any recommendations? I think Scott Singer from Scott Singer Cruises has done that one. You should check out his vlogs. Okay. Mr. Cruise Tips TV, are you going to pull in more questions? How are we doing? I'm looking for a couple in there too. Oh, good. Zachary, what is my favorite memory from an Alaska cruise? Oh my goodness sakes, I have so many, Zachary. I'm going to give you a couple. The first thing that popped into my mind when you said that was definitely glacier viewing days, but it's not so much the part where you're at the glacier. It's the part, Zachary, where you're like, you know, you just pull into the glacial passage and everybody's still asleep in their rooms, but you're out on deck. It's freezing cold. And there's this silence and this stillness that is unlike anything else as you sort of cruise silently through the glacial passage. You're very close to the walls of the channel and there's no sound. And to me, when I think about Alaska, I think about that moment. But I've had some really good family moments too. A lot of hot tub moments with my kid, with my mom, just hanging out in the hot tub alone. People don't go in the hot tubs because they think it's too cold. It's one of the best things you can do in Alaska is go grab a hot tub at the back of the ship. There will be people there, but not very many. Grab a cocktail or some hot cocoa and just go sit there and look around you. It's unbelievable how beautiful the inside passage is. Seeing bears with my son was really fun. The White Pass Rail was an exceptional experience for our family. There's just a lot of really great things. I love the hike to Nugget Falls from Mendenhall, and I loved hiking Mount Roberts. Anything that's physical activity and family, I'm in. Okay, Kim said, any must-see things in downtown Seattle. You know what, Kim, you know what my favorite thing about Seattle is? It's the food and the shopping. The restaurants are exceptional. They seem to have such beautiful locally sourced produce. I love eating, so go and eat as much as you can. Okay, Scott Kaler, any salmon excursions? You mean like salmon fishing or like, yeah, you could find salmon spawning and like salmon ladders and things like that. Okay, Robin, the only really cold days in Alaska, generally on a cruise, like more cold than usual, are the days when you're in the glacial passage, but otherwise they're not that cold. It's cold, it's maybe wear a jacket on deck, but there will be days when you'll be wearing a t-shirt too. Okay, yeah, Brashilda, I would choose the itinerary that visits Glacier Bay during the day. I wouldn't want to see Glacier Bay during the night hours. You wouldn't be able to see. If you mean dark night hours, definitely pick the daytime one. Okay, so let's see here. We're about ready to do the giveaway here. We are gonna log off in about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna ask, this one's US only, guys, so please only enter if you are a US resident. We're gonna be giving away 2 of these, so there will be 2 winners. All you need to do is tell me what excursion, if you were going to Alaska today, what one excursion would you pick? Go. We have 2 minutes to get your entries in. Millie, when buying souvenirs in Alaska, how do you know if they're authentic? You know, I guess you could ask the store owner where they were made. I think that's a hard thing because I don't know how authentic they are. Obviously, if they're little tiny shops and you get to meet with the artisans, you might be okay. Deaf Cat, you have a question about the Caribbean. I don't think you're gonna need a whole lot of foreign currency for the Caribbean ports, but it would probably be better to do it in the port. Oh yeah, Jim, that's a good question. Jim Ring said, do you recommend a balcony for Alaska or would an interior be okay? So this is something we struggle with because you guys have seen on our last 2 Alaska cruises, we went with an interior cabin. Guys, we saved $2,000 to $3,000 in an interior cabin, but if you can afford a balcony, we couldn't at the time. You should take a balcony in Alaska if you can afford it. So that's my official answer for you, Jim. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. Logan, I don't know if businesses in Vancouver accept US currency. I know we have Canadians in the house that can answer that question. So Canadian friends, let's help Logan. Do businesses in Vancouver accept US currency or do we need to get Canadian dollars? Okay, lots of good ones coming in. Ooh, lots of whale watching, lots of salmon, sled dog, glacier viewing, so good. Yeah, whale watching, Lauren, I know, right? Jim said the White Pass Rail, absolutely. Will, definitely the native village to see what life is like. Another thing I didn't mention today, you guys, is that the totem parks in Ketchikan are really fun. I loved going to the totem park and my son really enjoyed it. It was drizzly and rainy, but that's another great thing to do when you are there. 1 more minute, guys, to enter, and then we're gonna pick 2 winners tonight. Okay. Looking for a few more questions before we sign off. Lots of you say you go whale watching. I know Mel, I would do the Crab Fest too. Nancy said Crab Feast. Yep, Consuelo, Crab Feast. I'm telling you, so many good ones. Okay, Julia said, do you have any recommendations for local restaurants in Alaska? You'd rather eat authentic Alaskan food rather than the specialty restaurants on the ship. Yeah, Julia, there's so much good food. The funny thing about Alaska is you have to be a little bit careful about that. It's hard. Sometimes you get tourist traps. So I would really like you to go onto TripAdvisor before you go and look and see which ones are highly rated, and I would really recommend that when you're in Juneau that you do that food tour. I'm going to give you the name of it one more time, but definitely do that one. It's called JuneauFoodTours.com. I think for you that would be an excellent idea. Okay, I think that we are close to getting the winners selected. The prize will be mailed directly from It's Okay, It's a Cruise. So I'm going to be needing your address. So the winners are going to need to email me their address at Sherry, S-H-E-R-I, at cruisetipstv.com. Okay, some good help coming in today. I appreciate it. MG Toe, thank you for helping Reggie. So appreciate it. Good job. So much help. Okay, Mr. Cruise Tips TV, do we have our 2 winners? Okay. Renee, can you book a land and sea trip through the cruise line? Yes, you can, Renee. Those are called cruise tours or Alaska cruise tours, and the cruise lines do sell those directly. Excellent, excellent question. Okay, alrighty, we have our winners today. Our first winner is Kenneth Gentry. Kenneth, congratulations. Email me your address at Sherry, S-H-E-R-I, at cruisetipstv. Our second winner today is Midge Gravelez. I hope I said your name correctly, Midge. So Kenneth and Midge, email me your physical address and I will have It's Okay, It's a Cruise send those items out to you. Congratulations. Good job, guys. Well, this was super, super, super fun. I hope that all of you appreciated all of the information. we're going to be signing off right now because we've got a lot of things to do today. We've got a busy work week ahead, but if you have any questions that I have missed, please don't hesitate to message me over on Facebook. Tomorrow night, also, if you'd prefer, you can come back at 6 p.m. Pacific. So that's Monday night. I think that's the 29th, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be doing a general Q&A, so all questions are welcome tomorrow night. Thank you all so much for participating. We're loving Vlogtoberfest. I can't believe it's going to be over on Wednesday. I'm getting sad already. But we have a lot of fun things in store for you guys in November and December as well. A lot of really cool episodes coming up that we're planning to film, some great live streams, and some little surprises. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow night, and until next time, we'll see you on the high seas.
Hey, click me to subscribe.